Amazing. So it's here's Michael, me, and Danny. Danny's a very good friend of Michael.
Shalom Aleichem.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, what's wow, welcome back to Mexico, Misha.
Yeah, it's amazing. Feels good. Wanna be there, but right now I think the time for my family's here.
מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Micha, you want to start? Then you want to ask something? Rob, you have something to say? Let's start the session.
Let's do some questions. It's bestest questions.
Yeah. I think that's the best.
Danny, I think Danny has very good questions.
Well,
yeah, hi, I'm at
Aleichem.
Mexico City. Hello, Avshi. We met last year, like a year and a half in Michal's house.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good to see you again. And also Michal and Moises started really close for a lot of years now. It's very good to see them.
Wow, happy that you're with us and that yeah, I see all the friends are very serious, very real, very focused. Baruch Hashem. So what's on your mind?
Well, yeah, actually a lot of stuff right now happening, like in searching for guidance in a lot of ways, with a lot of uncertainty going on around my life. Yeah, just going through a path where there has been like a lot of pain and a lot of excitement, and like just it has been a year for like an emotional roller coaster this last year. And I don't know, in some way, sometimes I have doubts about going on the right path, taking the right steps, the right decisions, but maybe it would be amazing to have some advice about how not to feel lost in a way that I don't have anything clear from certainty from the future, but at the same time, I have a lot of visualization in my mind of what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And like the whole motives behind the work I am doing right now, with a lot of things between my current job and the project that I'm actually working, that it's like my whole life in that project, where I having troubles not being able to put my whole energy and my whole time on this project right now. But yeah, in some way, it's just sometimes feels like I'm lost, but I have a path to follow. And sometimes it just gets a little bit bumpy along the ride. So it would be amazing to have an advice in that. I don't know if it's clear.
Oh, wow. Okay, amazing. So the truth is that every journey is led by the goal. The goal, the purpose is the spirit of the whole journey. Some people journey through life not in a sense of a journey. They don't have a destination. They just live. They just live. They don't ask questions. They don't think there's more than, much more than meets the eye. Kind of like the Jewish soul, the spirit, the Jewish spirit knows and remembers constantly that it's sent to this dimension, to this body, to this physical, for a very big mission. And this feeling always gives us this feeling that we have to do more, and we have to do more. Reminds us, encourages us to remember that we're here on a great mission. Now, every mission has obstacles in its way, and these obstacles are challenges. One of the strongest ways to get over obstacles and challenges is to remember very strongly the purpose, because when the purpose is vague, so every obstacle becomes a mountain and becomes a challenge. When the purpose is very clear and very strong, then you jump over obstacles because the purpose is calling you. Very often, the reason that we don't always know what our goal is. If you knew what your goal was, you'd be able to always hold it strong and really rise over everything. Part of the confusion today in the world is that we are also searching to know what our meaning is. We want to find our higher calling. We want to find our higher cause. That's part of the frustration of our generation. It's not just not knowing what to do. It's not knowing anything. I need first to know what to do, and then I need strength to do that. You know, no matter what the projects that a person is doing in life, these are the things they find themselves doing. These things are very important. But the main project is the project of why they were created. If a person fails to do his purpose of creation, even if you've fulfilled many side tasks and completed many jobs, that would not be considered a success. And this very often is the deep inner voice that keeps on asking us, you know, are you successful? Are you successful? Do you know your goals? Are you really doing what you came here for? And that's really the that inner. And a very good attitude to have towards this is one of the things, one of the focuses in prayer and personal prayer where a person has with his creator. It's not just reading a text from a book, but a person kind of closing his eyes and saying, creator of the world, I'm in the physical dimension, you've sent me here on a mission, and I'm going to take time to close my eyes from the physical, from all the sidetracks, from all the everything that's around me, and remember who I am. And the more I remember who I am, the more I remember how my goal, then my goal becomes stronger. And then the obstacles in life become much more easier to bypass. Okay, so most reasons that people's obstacles are very big is because their goals are not defined. Their real goals are not defined. So these obstacles stand as like life challenges. But when you connect to your ultimate mission, which is you as a person, besides for the important jobs that you're doing, which are important, but why were you created? When you know that, then that will give you the strength to fly over everything. What do you think?
It is very beautiful the way you put it that way, because that is exactly something that has been on my mind for a lot of time. Like, I remember when the last time I saw you, I have a similar chat with you about this, and you mentioned three things that has been on my mind for this whole 1.5 years from now. And it's a wake-up call. It's very close. And yeah, it's like has been on my mind because I have been like an awakening call for myself to go for a bigger purpose than myself, to go service someone else. And sometimes, like you just said, it's like this process where you're knowing yourself and you want to jump somewhere else because this is not like the right, like I believe when you know what is your purpose or what is you doing, I don't really know that you know exactly what your purpose is, but in certain way, like this wake up call that I have been having for the last 2.5 years, that has been making me really impatient. And I know that patience is like one of the biggest virtues that there are in life, but sometimes it's really tough to have patience with that, especially when you're not specifically happy where you are right now with the actions that you're taking right now. And yeah, sometimes it gets a little bit tough to hold on into that patience. And it's something that I question myself a lot. Like, it's God testing me. Is if this a proof that I have to test? Like, I remind myself really often to enjoy the process, because this process is going to take me to the next level that I'm imagining myself into my mind. But yeah, it's good, sometimes really tough and tiring to keep trusting on that patience and trusting in that process to take me to the next level, where I want to be bigger than myself, to serve something bigger than myself.
It's true. Look, the relationship between man and his creator is extremely important. Man can't without his creator. No matter what, even if everyone in the world assists me and guides me, if it's not the creator himself that wants something to succeed, it's not happening. And you know, people want independence, people want all these nice words, but the truth is that the whole creation is codependent. The strongest man in the world needs to breathe, needs to go to the bathroom, and is dependent on you know, on the creator's mercy every second. You know, this feeling of machoism, that a person's like rich and strong and independent and could do, and this is not the ultimate. This is like people try to get to this level to be, you know, like an executive and a, you know, standalone power. This is not the real level. The real level that we look at David HaMelech. David HaMelech, who's the king of Am Yisrael. And the attitude of David HaMelech is, and he was actually at the top. The Creator put him at the top. But his attitude is absolute humility and absolute codependence on the Creator. Not just humility between man and man. A codependence on the Creator, that he describes himself as codependent as a child nursing from his mother. A child, a nursing baby, can't walk, can't do anything. He recognizes and he states his dependency in Tehillim. He says, I'm a baby nursing from you. This is how I feel. That means that this feeling of feeling independent and strong and that the Western world is giving us this feeling of success may not be the real feeling of success, because the truth is that man cannot alone. Man must have the Creator in his side with his help. And man getting to this place of vulnerability, of real vulnerability towards his Creator, is actually the place of truth. You know, if man stands alone and says, I'm so strong, I'm so independent, that's not true. It's just not. You're not. You're a creation. Maybe in comparison right now in the world, compared to these poor people, you're called rich. Compared to these tall people, you're called short. It's comparative. It's not real. You're just a creation like any other creation. You're dependent on the mercy of the Creator every second of your life. And getting to that recognition and saying, Creator of the world, I need you. I need guidance. I need light. Why? Like, is it weird for me to need you? Is it weird for me to talk to you? No. Like, is there anyone else that could help me? No. You're the Creator of the world. Can I see you? No. Who cares? Do you hear me? Of course. Do you see me? Of course you see me. Of course you hear me. Of course you create me. So it's okay to, in privacy, it's important that inside a person, David, yes, he's a king to the nation. You know, he didn't just walk around saying, hey, I can't do anything. No, he stood there and he wore the crown and he wore the royal clothes and he judged and he was the king. He was the head of the nation. When it came to him and the Creator, he says, I'm a baby. Between me and you, I'm a baby. To me and the world, that's how you made me. You don't want me to stand here and say, I'm not a king, I'm a baby. You want a king, you don't want a baby. But me to you, I'm a baby. And that's really this attitude we all have to have inside ourselves when it comes to you in the world. You can't tell your wife, Hashem Yazor, you ever said that? No, you tell her, of course, there's parnasah, there's going to be this, there's going to be that. Akol beseder. Your kids, you can't tell your kids, no. Of course, you're the father. But when it comes to you and yourself, what are you? What are you? So this attitude, meaning developing towards vulnerability, is actually a truth. First of all, it's true. And it actually connects me to the real source of strength and power, which is the creator of the world. I guess it's very difficult in Chutz La'aretz also. A person is so influenced by their surroundings. But the truth is that the light that's revealed from the darkness is irreplaceable. It's real light. That's Shoshana ben Achuchim. No nation of the world has this relationship with the Creator like we have. We practice, we have a relationship of father and son. Our feeling of success is not I'm successful. Our feeling of success is meaning my success is my ability to recognize that there's only the Creator, and that success can flow through me. It's never me.
Actually, I love it how you said it, and sorry, I also want that other ones to also talk. But that last word you mentioned, vulnerability. It's something that I've been trying to embrace, like this sensitive and vulnerable part. That sometimes it's tough to accept. That I believe that making yourself vulnerable can also make you strong in a lot of ways, but sometimes it's really scary on that way because it's between this path that I know I'm with the company God of my creator, but at the same time, like being in this physical world, in this level of consciousness of what I have been going through, it's something like a lonely path in some ways, like finding your own crew to be around with people that share the same values than you, then want the same objective than you, that rise you instead of lowering you down on your same values or your same life or your same goals that you have. And I don't know, it's like this part, like surrendering myself to my faith and to God. But it's like this part that inside of myself, I know I'm with the company of God, but at the same time, a little bit lonely between the connections I have been having lately with people around my circle.
Totally. Yeah, there's a loneliness, especially in our generation, associated with anyone that wants to do anything holy or real. The world is not into it. That's why good friends are infinitely valuable, unbelievably valuable. Even if you have one or two friends, people that think similar, that share values, it's important to communicate with them, to develop the friendships with them, to spend time with them. The Rambam Maimonides teaches us that one of the strongest influences on the human psyche is his surroundings, is his friends. And therefore, a person should do whatever they can to live in a neighborhood with a positive influence, and to have friends with a positive influence, do business with people that influence them positively, anything. Even if you have a business choice, you're better off doing business with people that are more pleasant, that will influence your personality even in a more positive way. Because business is not just finances, you're also having a human interaction, which is going to affect your behavior, your psyche, your speech, your forever. So it's important to strengthen good friendships, especially in today's world where everyone, the social distancing is so natural. Any friendship that's positive for you, that brings you towards these right goals, that helps you connect to your creator, that gives you that deep strength, that helps you reach clarity, vulnerability, all these wonderful values that you're trying to reach, pursue. Do whatever you can to spend more time with these people, to go on vacations with them, to talk. And if you have friends that are, or people that are just pulling in the other direction, so, you have to sometimes distance yourself. Sometimes that will wake them up. Sometimes you could talk to them. Sometimes you could try to wake them up yourself. But it's very important that you kind of really like protect yourself in a way, because life just happens, and one day you just become. And what do you become? So a big part of your becoming is the people that you associate with and their influencing. You can't just let that happen automatically. It's important to be proactive and active in this choice. Why not? Zat Hashem.
Thank you, Afshi.
My pleasure.
Shalom, Rav.
How
are you?
Oh, Sian.
How are you? How was everything?
What are you guys doing over there?
My dad is doing better.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks God. Yeah, he's doing better.
The whole family is a tzaddikim. I'm sure it's affecting all the levels of emunah and emotion and sensitivity in the deepest ways.
Yeah. Yeah, really, yeah. Well, thank you. I had one question about, we were learning today, and it's a question of many, I think, many years. But I'm struggling with the part of Geburah. I think like the part of Geburah, or the idea of my idea of Geburah, like with my kids or in my house or with myself. Like I'm trying to be in the, I don't know if it says in the Chesed, in the Rachamim, like the compassion, expanding. But I'm feeling that I need it. I need more. I need more concentration, more. But really, when I'm in that place, I start like saying more things to my wife, like I don't know, more Gevura things to my kids, and I don't feel comfortable. But also I read, okay, but you need it. So I don't know what's your your idea on that.
And the Tomer Dvorah writes that the person should use the middot of Chesed always. Definitely on your wife and your children, there's no question. The middot of Gvura you could exercise in other areas, like not at home.
Okay.
There's other middot of Gvura that you could, for example, when you hear people talking the Shara, you could go out of your way and say something. When you hear people saying someone talking about a tzaddik, you could say something. You could do, but the truth is that we don't have to run after the middot. Meaning, if you notice, the middot are not mitzvot, right? The middot are the shorashim of the mitzvot, and when a person fulfills the mitzvot, for example, many mitzvot stem from midat gvura. For example, the mitzvah of shchita. Could you slaughter an animal?
No,
you can't, right?
No way.
No, you see blood, what happens to you? What?
Yeah.
Right. So that's fine. But this is something. For example, not speaking in Bet Knesset. there's a good area to practice the midat of gvura on yourself.
Yeah.
That's a very good place. But in general, we don't have to. We're not running after the midot. Like we run after the mitzvot. So, like, what's the case? If you're at home, give your wife and kids as much love and as much mercy as possible. Smol docha v'yamin mekarevet. Yamin mekarevet, it means the stronger influence is the kiruv. Smol docha, the weaker influence, is once in a while. If there needs to be a little gvura, it has to be known how to said. But in our generation and the weakness that we're holding on today, you're right. There has to be gvura. The gvura should be connected towards yirat shamayim. If you want to focus on gvura, sit. When everything in life is beautiful and pink and dandy, people don't think about the yirat shamayim. But when you're staring at life in the face and you're staring at the heaviness and the realness of life, there's a yirat oromimut, is feeling the presence of Hashem, the giver of life. And that's yirat shamayim, having yirat shamayim, remembering our Creator. Doing actions of gvura and speeches of gvura, it's not. To the contrary, you should try to embody the behavior of the Tomer Dvorah as much as possible. And that you should aim for that to be your second nature and your response to everything that happens to you. Ultimate chesed. And this is what we want, and this is what we need in these days. We're asking Hashem for the increase of the influence of chasadim and rachamim in all the worlds and all the neshamot and all the Jewish souls that are going so many painful processes. And the Sfarim HaKadoshim teach us how does Hashem and why does Hashem awaken the mercy? Hashem awakens the mercy when we, the lower ones, the ones that live in physical bodies in this physical world, we call out when we ask Him, Hashem, Hashem, Kel, Rachum, V'chanun. But it's not only saying these midot. The Rishonim write that it's what's more important is actually activating them by personifying them, like actually embodying them, behaving them. So that's the Tomer Dvorah goes on to mamash to teach you how to behave with your wife and your friends and people that annoy you and people that sin against you, how to behave with them with the highest attitude of how the Creator of the world behaves to the biggest sinners.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the way that we should aim to live by. This is the attitude that we should aim to have to each other, to our wife and to our kids, because this is the level of rachamim that we need in the world. We're not holding in a place that we could ask Mashiach for any reason. We were like the generations before us were a million times better than. We just need rachamim, total rachamim, total asay manu tzedakah v'chesed, like for no reason. Forget about no reason. Maybe there's all the reasons the opposite. Still, we're asking. So we need that attitude. You need the person still sinning against you, still this, and still you're gonna give him. So we have to have this attitude towards each other. Because that's what we're asking Hashem. Isn't that what we're asking Hashem? We're telling Hashem, give us Geulah. Asking from Hashem Geulah in our generation is a chutzpah.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a holy chutzpah. Hashem wants us to be chutzpah and to say, no, Hashem. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Sometimes you need to hear it. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Hi, Avshi.
Hey, Shlomo Melech.
How are you?
What's happening?
Michael. Also, I say hi to Michael because I haven't seen him like I've seen you almost.
Why don't you come visit us?
Yeah, I was going to see Moy, but Moy came to Cuernavaca first. So.
What's happening, Shlomo?
I have a question that I've had for many months, but I don't know if it's right to ask, actually. So I just want to say that because maybe it's wrong to even think about it.
Now you're making it really interesting.
Like, I've always had this feeling that this question of why does Hashem, like in the texts and everything, like, why is there so much praise to him? Like, if he's the one that wrote everything, why is he like to me it sounds sometimes like I know it's not like that, but it sounds like selfish or some like maybe he's teaching us that feeling that quality exists, right? Like not selfishness, but like to receive or to think about you or to direct. I don't know, like.
Fantastic question, Shlomo. Fantastic question. I actually heard a thought about this recently. I'll share with you. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar Kadosh, tzaddikim, they go through times of very expanded great consciousness, but also they'll go through time of restriction consciousness and darkness and tests. And sometimes the students would stand in front of Rabbi Shimon and they would want to hear Torah from him. And he would be like in a certain like closed state. And they would start praising him. They would start praising him to his face. They would say psukim, like unbelievable psukim that say praise about Hashem, and it's talking about you, Rabbi Shimon. Like you're on such a level, you're like Hashem himself. And then he would start teaching them Chidushei Torah. Like, what is this? Well, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai like needs people to like, what is it? But so what this means is that sometimes Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in his state of consciousness was holding in a very, very, very high place. And sometimes the students, but you don't know if your students are in the zone to hear you, if they understand the level of your intensity of your truth, if they're really recipients that are excited to really hear that they're really the right students to share this with. So when the students show you that how much they praise you and how much they hold of your Torah and how much they hold of you, then they're making themselves the right receivers to like actually awaken this influence that's already there and give it to them. Not that he needs it. So it's the same thing. Let's say right now I'm coming into an appointment with you. Let's say for some investment, let's say $100 million. I need for some building, some investment. Now I'm coming to a meeting with you. Before the meeting, I'm asking myself, who is this person that I'm going to meeting? What am I talking to them about? What are they worth? What are they investing? What do they want? If they say, okay, here's a person, he wants $100,000. So I go talk to them this way. Let's say a person that wants half the investment, $50 million. So you go speak to them totally different. Not because you understand that you're speaking to someone that could actually fulfill your need. And you're giving him the respect that it's needed in order for you to receive what you need. And when it comes to the creator of the world, this idea is very, very strong because the creator is the blessed one that's giving constantly. And when the creation recognizes this, the necessity of the truth of the creator, meaning the creator made it in a way that this makes the receiver actually worth getting what he's asking for, because he's actually preparing himself and bringing himself up to the level to receive this high influence that he's asking for. So of course, the creator of the world, there's no change in him at all. Meaning, in the unity of the creator doesn't change from before the creation to after the creation. This is something that is mind-boggling. All the instructions that he gives the creation are for the creation to maximize and to reach their maximum level of reaching the dvikut, total unity with the creator, and that's fulfilling the purpose.
Okay. Yes.
Like let's say right now, before you ask me this question, you would say, maybe you don't know the answer. Blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, like, let's say in my mind, you could have caused me like a little of this, but let's say you would say, Avshi, you know all the answers, you're the best. Blah, blah, blah. So in my mind, it opens me up. Sometimes that can happen between people. And so that's how we think about it this way. But when it comes to the creator, it's totally different. And so the giving is constant giving, but the praise is the praise of the vessel, of the recipient, of actually shifting into that place of saying, whoa, I'm actually in a place where I could receive everything that I need. And then
Right.
you actually receive.
So it's more about us than him, right? So it's more like something for us to do, more
It's
than
more
him to
him and the way relationships work. They work based on the receiver.
Okay.
Amazing. amazing, guys.
I think Dan is gonna ask something. Badani.
Yeah, thank you, Roy. Actually, following up a question that raised to my mind with Salah's question. It's something that I have been like a little bit obsessed in the last few months, the functioning of the functioning of the mind. And it's like this constant battle, like every second, every day battle between the adult mind and the child mind. And it's like this child mind that all the time wants this instant gratification that pull you away from your goals, pull you away from your peace, that doesn't make you take good actions, that has a lot of weight, I believe, in all of our minds. And also like this adult mind, that it's the conscious mind that knows what is better for you on a mid-long term. Like my question here is, because I believe the child mind in so many ways can get you away out of our creator, out of our good values, out of for what's best for us. What would be an advice, or how could someone give more weight to this adult mind that constantly wants to do the good things, but this instant gratification of the mind, like this voice that is also taking you to the past and making you anxious about the future, and it's causing you a lot of pain between these kind of things? How can someone, or how could you take more weight on this adult mind without giving such weight to the child mind?
That's a fantastic topic and question. To summarize it really quick, you're describing two feelings or identities inside of yourself, an adult identity and a child identity, and the struggle between them. This is one of the most fascinating topics. This obviously is Yaakov and Esav, if you know the story, right? Remember in Jacob and right? So that's the story. The short answer is the two powers in fighting inside of you, only one of them is going to win. And the answer is the power you feed is going to win. Because if you have two powers struggling and one eat and one doesn't, the one that eats is going to be stronger. He's going to win. So in order to make that part more dominant, you feed that higher self. You value that higher self. That you give that the dominion over the lower self. This struggle exists throughout life. The beginning levels of the struggle are strong. They require force, like the higher self forcing and breaking the lower self at the beginning level of everything, because in more advanced levels, you realize that the lower self, the immature self, is not meant to be broken. It's meant to be adapted. And they're actually, both personalities are actually one that are meant to work together. If we look back to Yaakov and Esav, right? Yaakov and Esav were two twins born from the same womb. One went to be total righteous and one went to be totally wicked. In truth, they're both designed to be one unit, where one brother, Esav, the wicked one, is the man of the world. He's the man that has access to the world. And Yaakov has the man that's access to the mind, to the Torah. Together, they were supposed to be a unit that had the mind and the hands, the mind and the heart, and together to really dominate the world. This is our purpose in life. If we spoke earlier about knowing your higher purpose, this is the higher purpose, really. Understanding the totality of your animal soul, your lower soul, your immature soul. Coming to terms with that, and then inviting more and more and more and more intellect and maturity into your life, because intellect and maturity are not there naturally. What's naturally is nature, animal behaviors, selfishness, ego, desires, laziness, that's there naturally. That's the basis. And then the intellect must be invited in, and you have to bring it in and do the work of dominating your animal. in our world, the person that's able to dominate the animal will be a Superman, will be a real Superman, because if the person that could really control their ego, their desires, like from their own intellect, like that's really being super. And the power that we do this with is called the Torah. The Torah, which is the Torah that Hashem gave us, through studying the words of the Torah. The words of the Torah are food, literal food to the neshama, to the soul. That we feel the soul expressed in our intellect. The soul is not the intellect. We feel the soul manifest through our thoughts, through our intellect, but the soul is our godly higher being that's much bigger than our mind. Its echoes shine in our thoughts and our mind. Yeah.
It is amazing because it's like this part that our own minds, like this animal soul is sabotaging ourselves for a greater good. And it's something that has obsessed me, and I love it how you say it, like you have to feed that higher self so it can come to terms with the other mind. And I love that it's a practice that I have to put it on day to day to put a lot of feed into my adult mind.
Yes, there's one of the most fascinating works that dealt precisely with this point is called the Tanya. I don't know if you heard of the Tanya, but Moy will tell you there's a book called GPS for the Soul. That he speaks directly about the challenge between the two souls, and with tremendous depth. Hello? Oh.
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah. So that's I would recommend reading the GPS for the Soul. I'll get it for you later. In general, I'll tell you that in general, the spiritual, we're all going through spiritual finding and searching, and one of the greatest things that you could give yourself is clarity. Just knowing what's happening. Imagine this is what we study, that Rivka, the mother of Yaakov, before she gave birth to them, she was confused. 1 minute she's going by a church and the baby wants to go out, and the next day she's going by a synagogue and the baby wants to go out. I'm saying, what's going on here? Who am I? What's happening? This is my kid. What is this? And then, there's two kids. Oh, okay. If there's two kids, I understand it. And sometimes we go through this inside ourselves. We don't know, who am I? What am I? And then you start through learning these great writings that these great spiritual masters wrote. They shed light on the totality of what you are, and you start understanding, okay, this is why my animal is, this is the nature of the animal, and this is the purpose, and this so and so, and this. Really, information is probably the most valuable thing that exists. It's a matter of time before it's official, but that's really how it is. It's what you know.
Thank you. Actually, I definitely have to study that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, amazing. ¿Alguien me hace alguna pregunta o damos la sesión terminada?
Yo una rápida.
Sí, vas.
Hey, Avshi.
Hey, Michael. Michael, you could just yell, I hear you. From Sheffield.
I have a question about the middot. Is it enough the recognition of the midah?
Wait, I didn't hear you say that. What?
Is it enough the recognition of the midah when I feel it, or there is other work, like if you feel gava, for example, or jealousy or whatever? Is it enough to just recognize it, that you are not the midah, that this midah is not yours? Is it enough the recognition to cure it, to make the process of being less selfish? Or there's another work that I can do when I feel the gava or when I feel the jealousy?
Okay, that's a very good question. The Mesilat Yesharim, I'll just say this for Danny. This is another book that you're going to want to get eventually, The Path of the Just. But I don't want to get you too many books in this. But this is a book that was written by one of the greatest Kabbalists during 350 years ago, and it's a guide to ultimate self-perfection. It goes through every attribute of every human attribute, and it discusses what the attribute is, number one, defines it, and then it defines what a person has if they don't have that, I mean, if they would have the opposite, and ways to get it. So to answer your question, Michael, a person that he doesn't know which middot he has, so he would be like a person that's sick that has not been yet even diagnosed. So that's like horrible. Like he's not even diagnosed. So there's no treatment, there's no analysis, there's nothing. He's just sick. Like you see this person, his behavior is like something wrong. The first step is analyzing, it's identifying what's going on here. Is it jealousy? Is it greed? Is it fear? Is it, because all these things stem from different places. Once a person identifies it, it's true that that's already a very big level, because a person is willing to accept that he has an issue, it's already very important, and it's identified and it's Shmaya. But then there's the work. The work is doing it. That's the whole life. That's the whole life. But if I just not figured out that that I'm jealous or something, and I'm yelling in my house and I'm this and I'm that. No. That's the whole avodah. It starts with the mind, but then it goes into the heart. That's the whole life. A person uprooting one negative behavior inside himself. Wow, you know what kind of heroism that is? But this, look, every day we stand up, we say, in the morning, we ask Hashem for all the middot. שתצילני מהזה פנים, מהזאת פנים, מהאדם רע, מיצר רע, מחבר רע, משכן רע, מיצר רע, מפגע רע, מעין רע. This every morning, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way He made us, is that we're not, every day we get like a part, a one piece of our neshama. You can imagine it, like it's called tzelem in Kabbalah. You get like one aspect of your neshama. That means that every night you're born. When you wake up in the morning, you're dead. You were just dead. You wake up, you don't know anything. Modani, you start your day. You have to start everything matchala. To start.
Okay.
So you wake up with all your bad midot every day. And you have to go through again. Not this midah, not this, and go again and fix yourself and purify yourself. That's how it is. When a person knows that, what do I want from my life? What am I looking to achieve, to receive from the time that I'm here? I'm looking to make my personality godly. I'm looking to refine my identity so much, that lower identity that Danny was talking about. Imagine I could take my raw animal identity and refine it so much out of all its selfishness and all its ego and make it so holy that the divine presence, the Shekhinah of Hashem, could rest in that soul and speak through that soul and live in that soul. That's what we're here for. That's what you're asking, why, creator of the world? Why did you give me such a dark soul with such darkness, with such thoughts? Why? The answer is because I love you so much. Take this hell, take this Gehenom, transform it into heaven, transform it into Gan Eden. That's how it is. You know what Gan Eden is? It's transformed hell. That's all it is. The Gehenom becomes Gan Eden.
Is there a sign that you're making progress on that subject? Like, is there a way to know that you are? Is there a sign to know that you're making progress on that end? Like,
is there a sign? The tzaddikim don't trust any signs. We don't stop to count our money. You always stay on your toes, working strong till the last second. But if you want to know inside yourself, is if you ever want to test to see if you actually advanced and grew levels in spirituality, so don't ask yourself if you know more books or no more. Test your real attitude in Ahavat Israel. Your real attitude towards the love of Am Yisrael. If your real spiritual elevation should cause a deepening in that, because if not, if it's just personal, if it's your personal gains and what you personally learn, that could be your fantasies and your imagination. That's not an indication of a growth.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you, Ashi.
That was
Thank you.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the best definition
Thank
of
you, Rabbi.
hell of Gehenna that I've ever heard.
What?
That's the best definition of Gehenna that I've ever heard.
I'll tell you, Moshe, I'll tell you a quick about the one that I say, speaking of Gan Eden and Gehenom. The Gemara says that Rasha'im, afilu apitcho shel Gehenom enam chazrim b'tshuva. That a Rasha, a real wicked person, even if you take him to the entrance of hell, he doesn't do tshuva. He won't do tshuva. He's a real Rasha. On the other hand, the Gemara says that a person that's oved avodah zara, afilu kedor enosh, a person that worships idol, if he shomer Shabbat, mochalin lo al kol avonotav. If he shomer Shabbat, they forgive all his sins. So how could this be? You say this Rasha, he's a Rasha, because if you take him to Gehenom, he's not going to do tshuva. So how is it that if he shomer Shabbat, they forgive him? What does this mean? So I understood from this that Shabbat is me'en olam haba. Shabbat is a sample of olam haba. Shabbat is a gateway to olam haba. So that means if I take a Rasha to Gehenom, he's not going to do tshuva. But if you take a Rasha to Gan Eden, for sure he'll do tshuva.
Wow.
So that's why if you take a Rasha to Shabbat, if a Rasha could taste the joy of Shabbat 1 minute, then for sure he'll forgive everything. Take the Rasha to Gehenom, tell him pain and suffering, and he has a stavot. What's he going to do? Stop right now.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So we have
And
to take
it's
each other
true.
to Gan Eden, to show each other Gan Eden. That's the real way to inspire the world, to bring the world back into Shabbat.
And that connects with what you told Sion, like midat chesed, midat rachamim. That's gonna do the job. Like,
Biduk, that's the attitude that we need in the world today.
yes.
Rak rachamim, rak tov, especially with the wife, especially with the kids. Tzion, I want to tell you something. It's true for everyone, but especially in your family with everything you're going through now. It's
Yes.
all the emotions. We have no idea on what a low people are holding today. In self-esteem. Who tells a kid something good about himself? Who? Nobody. The system is so critical, so competitive, from young to old, in sports, in money, in looks, in girlfriends, everything. They're getting beaten. The soul gets beaten all the time. As a father, you know what you need to do? Only give your kids hugs and kisses and love, and only show them how good you are, and only say, Sion, if you don't believe in your kid, no one in the world is believing in him.
Oh,
If you don't pray for him, no one in the world is praying for him.
yeah. True.
We have to see good in our kids. The Midrash says that every malach, every angel has a blade of every blade of grass has an angel. Every blade of grass has a personal angel that encourages its growth. Who's your angel, Sion? Your father.
Yeah.
Kids need angels. A kid is not a gazelle born in the jungle. They're born 2 minutes later, they're running with everyone. Babies, no. We're born 5 years, 10 years, some people 30, 40 years, they still can't do anything themselves. We need help.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but
We need
sometimes
an
in the
angel to
way.
believe in us. We need an angel to tell us you're good. I see the good in you. No one sees the good in you. Everyone sees that you're annoying and they see this. You're right. They're so right. But I'm your father. I'm your mother. Someone has, you need an angel to see good in you. Otherwise, how are you going to see good in yourself?
Yeah. Too true. Sometimes you get caught in the discipline and that. No, really.
I know, Sion. I know.
We read on
I'm
the
talking to
Zohar.
myself, believe me.
Yeah.
I'm talking just to myself.
We read on the Zohar the last week that in the Shiva Berachot, each day was 7 years, and each day was 1 year of Avodah. So one day Besimcha is 1 year in Avodah. Yeah. Thank you, Rav. Very
Thank you,
nice
guys.
and pleasant to see you.
Keep on going
Amen.
stronger and connecting. And should only hear good news.
Thank you,
Amen.
Avshi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Avshi.
You too.
Thank you,
Laila tov.
Avshi.